Good morning. This is Peter Burns coming to you from Southern California. I currently live in a little cottage 3 blocks from the ocean in Del Mar, which is a North County little village in San Diego. I found this in my travels. I've been living in Southern California, first in La Jolla, oh gosh, 4 or 5 years now. I come from back east by way of Arizona and Las Vegas and Ethiopia and a whole bunch of other places. But I really found my place in the sun, so to speak, here in Southern California, especially Del Mar. And I just kind of wanted to share a revelation that I had this morning involving sort of like the final chapter, or hopefully not soon, of what I want to do on a legacy basis. I'm 65 years old as of August. I have 2 grown children who married very nice young men who have given me 9 grandchildren, all under the age of 7, 2 sets of twins, one each. I haven't been married for 26 years to a lovely woman who I met when she was still 19 or 20 years old, way back when. We haven't been married for a long time, but we're still best friends. We talk every day, and she keeps me in the loop with my children, my grandchildren, and everything else. She's happily married to a man who's exactly the opposite of me. I'm the oldest of 4 children. I was always the maverick, the black sheep, whatever you want to call it, of the Burns family. My father was a very prominent advertising executive, and he was with the greats, Ogilvy and Mather, and Doyle Dane and Bernbach. And actually, my dad's life is sort of depicted in the Mad Men series. That was Dad, 100%. All those characters were actually a composite of my father. My little brother Michael runs Lionsgate Entertainment as vice chairman. He and a partner bought it about 15 years ago when it was a little Vancouver house, brought it back to the United States, built it up to the largest independent film company in the world. Mad Men is one of the 30 or 40 television series that Lionsgate has. And then my other little brother, Kevin, is a private wealth manager with billions of dollars, and he does fantastic. And my sister Lisa is married to an investment banker. And so everybody else followed their paths and did it the way that they were supposed to. They were educated, they got into professions, they did everything the right way. I, on the other hand, did not. Left home 17 in the military. Was fortunate enough to be plucked out of the infantry and appointed to West Point. And while I was there, I also won a ROTC scholarship at the University of Virginia, where I took a 4th-year course as a first-year student and brought mopeds into the United States and rented them on Nantucket Island as my little business plan, and made a whole bunch of money. It was the end of my career in the military, which I gave back the rest of my scholarship, as well as schooling in its traditional sense. I didn't go back to school until Harvard Business School's OPM program about 10 years later, but I never finished my undergraduate degree. So did everything my way, kind of like Frank Sinatra's song, and I'm happy I did it. I mean, yes, I've had my ups and downs like all of us have, but life's pretty darn good. I live in this beautiful area. I have a very active social life. I do exactly what I want to do. I've actually never had a job before, nor do I intend to. But the purpose of this video is really to talk about my swan song, if you will. I keep going back to what I'm really good at, which is raising and deploying capital. Not as an equity investor. I don't want to get involved in other people's businesses and making capital investment. I just won't do that. I've been in literally every field. I know a little about a lot of things. I've started 150 companies at least since the age of 19. But really what my forte is raising money. But raising money for debt. I am a venture lender, if you will. I will lend to individuals based on their own credentials, which I can enhance by fixing their credit, by increasing their income, by enhancing their credit, all those good stuff, to determine how much they are good for on a $1.5 billion line of credit, which I have available to me through all of my various resources under the umbrella of Burns Funding. What I will do is I will pick someone who needs money for their own business or to start a business. I will have them qualified with my internal banker at Burns Funding, and then I will deploy the money to actually not only secure the repayment of my money through the judicious expenditure of one or two cash flow cows that come back until I'm repaid, but I will also help the individual start their own company by putting them to work in one of my own and paying them for the privilege of them working for me part-time. All of this will be provided, including the debt service, until the one or two passive income sources that I have secured for them and me. All of this will be paid for from money that's allocated out of the original money that I'm going to lend them. So I'll escrow $3,000 a month as debt service per $100,000. That's about what it comes out to be, plus $3,000 a month for the individual to have as a living wage to do work on any of the projects that we mutually agree or something that I want them to work on. Anyway, it works out really well. So it's kind of venture lending, because what happens is after I have been repaid the money that I've advanced for all the things I just mentioned, I will retain a 30% ownership in whatever assets have been accumulated and businesses have been started, whether it's the actual equity in the enterprises that I chop up with them or pure cash flow. It all depends. I have to decide that at the time. But in the meantime, an individual who basically is a cubicle dweller or a wannabe entrepreneur, I call wannapreneurs, or someone who has always dreamed of starting a business but had no way to do so. They don't have the money, number one, which I provide with my venture lending platform, but they also don't have the mentorship or the resources or everything else that I've accumulated over the last 46 years by trial and error. So I'm still standing, so I must have done something right. In any case, it's an interesting thing. I have $1.5 billion, which means I could theoretically deploy $100,000 to 1,500 fledgling entrepreneurs. That'll make a big impact on our economy, and certainly the entrepreneurial economy, which I am a total advocate for. My own story is a perfect example. 17-year-old, really didn't know what I was going to do, entered into the Army, and guess what? It worked. And there's a lot of stories like that. Ones you don't even hear. They don't turn into the Bill Gates or the Jeff Bezos or the Elon Musk. You don't ever hear of them, but they're the undercurrent of the success and the foundation of the United States of America and indeed the world. Entrepreneurship is where it's at. If you don't have your own business, you're shit out of luck, because you can get fired or absorbed by another owner of a company that's going to take over yours, or just the economy's going to too. We had two catastrophic black swan events over the last couple of years. One was basically Civil War 2 with Trump and the Democrats and God knows what else going on. Who knows what happened there. Number two was, of course, COVID. I personally lost $2 million at least in a number of ventures that were all dependent upon people actually being able to use my services. And I had a travel company. I had to deal with Vietnam with all their e-visas to get a percentage of those issued to their 16 million visitors every year. I had a cannabis church, first of its kind. Great idea. COVID knocked the crap out of that. Then I also had these spectacular 3 10-bedroom, 10-bath group homes that I had set up in a high-end retirement community, and it was like printing cash, or would have been, had not COVID hit and wiped out my demographic. So I never got to even open those up, and it cost me $30,000 a month for a year and a half to just owned the real estate, and then poof, I had a number of other instances, including my own Burns Funding, which had facilitated 111 grant issuing SBA loans, and the SBA was too messed up to be able to execute on them. Poof, that's it. So I'm coming out of a tsunami of bad stuff and entering into a new era where I have taken what I do best, which is to put people into business. I am what's known as a serial startup entrepreneur. I'm doing it for other people. I've created a couple of programs specific to this. The Millennial Queenmaker, I have 36 young women going through the processing right now. And I decided to help men too, so I call it the Startup Kings. And I have 3 of those, including a former professional athlete that just signed up. So I have all these really good things going, but really, this conversation is called venture lending. And that's really my swan song. That's really what I want to focus on. That's what I'm doing. And that is the subject of this blog today. Thank you.